Inner Peace, Better Health. I'm your host, Shreya. Today we are joined by Amber Lavin, a relationship coach blending science, mindfulness, and the wisdom of embodiment. Based in Asheville, Amber empowers women to navigate the often confusing world of dating and relationships through deep self awareness, emotional intelligence, and mind body connection. Get ready to explore how true intimacy starts from within. Welcome, Amber. I'm honored to have you on my show.
I'm honored to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
So, Amber, let's begin right at the core. What exactly is embodied relating and how does it shift the way we approach dating and relationships?
Yeah, it's a way to date to where you're connected, not just with your brain, but with your body. And
Okay.
this changes the way we date because most of us are dating from a place of logic and, or sometimes not even thinking at all. And when we're connected in the present moment to our bodies and what we want and our values, we're able to date from a place where we're more clear and more able to make decisions that are healthy and move in a direction that we actually want to move in.
That's so wonderful. And many people feel they know what they want intellectually. How does embodiment reveal a deeper layer beneath that mental knowing?
Yeah, so sometimes people have our bodies are constantly giving signals to us, right? So we are animals at the end of the day. So we can know whether or not we're in fight or flight by connecting in with our body. Like there might be tension in our shoulders, there might be a falling feeling in our stomach. And our bodies are communicating with us about when something's safe or when something's not safe or when we're having anxiety. And if we ignore this experience, then we're ignoring a whole deep part of our psyche and of ourselves. So if you meet someone new and your body is reacting in a fight or flight way and you bypass that, then you're actually potentially going to continue to bypass it. And it could create a lot of problems in your relationship and a lot of tension rather than listening to those signals really early on. And that doesn't necessarily mean that this is a bad match. It might be just this communication of your body telling you that you're in anxiety for some reason. And so this way of dating allows you to um, have the whole picture rather than just your brain and your logic.
Yes. That's so nice to know, and the way you explained it, it's so beautiful. And also, you work with a lot of attachment theories. So, how can understanding our attachment styles help us create healthier and more secure relationships?
Yeah, so we all have attachment styles based on how we were raised, and they're not a good or bad thing. They're a spectrum. It's just how we are when we're stressed. So some people when they're stressed like tend to hyperfixate and move towards people or become really anxious, or some people when they're stressed, they kind of shut down or move away. And so if we're very aware of that, then we're able to communicate that with a partner or in a dating scenario that when I'm stressed, I tend to act in this way. And on a more dysfunctional end, if you don't know that that's how you are, then sometimes we can actually attract someone. For example, if you're more anxious, you can attract someone who pulls away or ignores you or isn't even actually invested in the relationship, and you'll continue to pursue that person even though that's not a good fit. And so if you're aware of this pattern, you can start to understand that you can be with someone who doesn't pull away, or even on the opposite end, if you're someone who tends to shut down, you don't necessarily have to be with someone who's overly anxious. You can be in a secure, safe relationship when we know more about ourselves, we actually have more power and more ability to control what's happening.
Yes.
Um, Whenever we don't know what's going on inside of us, we're kind of at the whims of our sensations and our bodies. Um, and so this internal knowing, I think a lot of people are interested in optimization of sleep and work schedules. And I think this needs to also be integrated into dating, this early part of relationships, because that's really where the foundation is for our families and the rest of our lives if we want to be with a partner.
Yes. And your words just turn the confusion into a compassion and for both ourselves and others. So thank you for sharing it. And mindfulness plays a huge role in your work. So how can simple mindfulness practices help someone stay present, especially during conflict or emotionally charged conversations?
Yeah. So dating and relationships they just trigger all the core stuff. And so it's really normal to have tension or, hard conversations. But the ability to be present and the ability to not disassociate, to not completely detach and think that we're correct and the other person's wrong, um, is this really, it's almost this bird's eye view of the situation.
Yes.
And so when you're able to be mindful and able to practice mindfulness in your conflicts, you're actually able to lift up and see the situation for what it is rather than when we're in fight or flight. And really simple techniques that we all kind of learn and know, and it's becoming trendy and popular, but putting them in practice when you're in that moment, when you feel anxious, and it's a habit, as anything is a habit, like going to the gym.
Yeah.
So when you start, if you know, like, okay, I need to have a difficult conversation with my partner,
Mm.
you have to really consciously be like, okay, I'm going to do a 5-minute meditation before I have that conversation so that I feel regulated in my nervous system and I'm not triggered to the point to where I am so off in another realm rather than in my body in that moment with that person, being able to communicate back and forth.
That's so often we have that conflict pulls that into our past, and the mindfulness gently turns everything into a peace. So also, what is one mindful tool someone can apply today to break the reactive patterns in their relationships?
Yes. So I would say identify the trigger. So if you know that you're reactive, and if it's like when my partner talks about this specific things, I would identify the trigger first.
Mm.
And then the mindfulness technique that I think is the purest and the most beneficial is learning how to breathe and take deep breaths. And this has been really trendy and people know this thing, but people don't really know the science behind it, in that it taps into our nervous system and it tells our nervous system we are not in fight or flight right now. When we're breathing deeply, our nervous system is like, oh, we're safe right now.
Mm.
And talking to your partner is not fighting a tiger. So practicing the ability to take deep breaths when you're in a reactive state of mind really changes your brain chemistry, and you're able to speak clearly, and you're able to have clear thoughts. And so that would be where I would start with most people. But also different people react differently to different tools, but that would be a very foundational place to start, is learning how to take deep breaths.
Yes. And that's such an accessible tool that one can practice, because we often in relationships often handle the arguments like it's a life and death situation, like just to have said that it's not like a fighting with a tiger. So these accessible tools can really, I think, help us to deep down or to have the peace in that moment. That's so wonderful. And modern dating can feel a little overwhelming, apps, algorithms, and endless choices nowadays they have. So, how does embodied relating help people to move beyond the surface and foster real connection in today's fast paced world?
Yeah, the apps are designed to keep us distracted and to
Mm,
keep us kind of, it's like fast food. It's just like,
mm,
okay, like let's continue to consume.
mm,
And so knowing that it's designed that way,
mm,
and also knowing that you're in control of your experience.
mm,
So the way I do that is facilitate a support group for women, not around the apps, but just in dating and mindful dating.
mm,
And we talk about creating a sacred ritual out of dating and out of using the apps and out of meeting people. And you could create ceremonies around like, okay, I'm going to get on the app at 7 p.m. and you can do a 2-minute breathing exercise before you
mm,
can begin. You can say an
mm,
affirmation to yourself. This gives you the ability to create sacredness out of dating because it is a special thing. Those
mm,
are real people on the other end.
mm,
And if you are in this fight or flight state of mind when you're getting on the app, it's going to come across even on
mm,
even on texting, and it's going to come
mm,
across when you meet that person. And that's not how you want anyone really wants to meet people. There's a normal amount of dopamine and chemicals that happen early on in dating, so it's normal to feel anxiety, but it doesn't have to be to where you're completely off the rails, feeling anxious and overwhelmed. You can be in control.
yes, yes. And your offering is a kind of soulful antidote to the swipe fatigue that so many people have these days. And do you think the digital nature of dating has made embodiment or even more necessary?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. The In general, I think we're all just more isolated and
Mm,
more tend to because we just have, this device that's just our personal like virtual reality. So we have really moving away from being connected to our bodies, being connected to our intuition, and this this way of dating allows you to know what you want and not just be in this virtual world of isolation that can just kind of feel like, who am I? Who is this person? What do I actually even want? And it can just feel really
mm.
confusing.
Yes, yes, that's so nice that you have shared that. And you have also worked with so many women through their relational journeys. So what is one powerful truth about love and connection that you wish everyone could embody?
Yeah, that's a really great question. Um, I wish I work a lot with women, but this would apply to men too, but I would speak more specifically to women, is that everyone has the ability to heal within them. That is possible, and it's something that's already there and that you already know the truth within yourself. Um, Whenever I work with women, there's always this experience of I'm only just kind of creating a container so that they can find the truth for themselves. Many women that come to me are in the middle of a breakup or trying to decide what to do. And we think that we want someone else to tell us, like, what do I do?
Mhm.
Um, but really, the most profound transformation happens when we are able to sit and discover the truth within ourselves. And sometimes it takes a little digging. Um, but that would be what I would hope everyone would walk away with is this knowledge that you already have the truth within yourself. This is already there within you. It just might take a little bit of discovery.
Yes, yes. And this truth is like a medicine, reminds us that yes, healing is possible. And it's something we can align with also. And also, what is one gentle reminder you want to give to someone who feels discouraged by repeated relationship disappointments?
Yeah. So I like to tell people that um, love is an inherent gift that we all have.
Yes.
We are really animals at the end of the day. We are meant to be in community and meant to be together. And sometimes I think there can just be this idea that we need to be happy single, which is true. We need to be happy alone and feel safe alone. But it's also very normal to feel sad when you don't have a partner because we are
Yes.
meant to be with people. And so I like to preface it with that because I do think that that's a normal feeling
Hmm.
and that if you're feeling discouraged, knowing that this is inherent to life and love is coming towards you, love is within you. I know that can all sound really hokey, but the more people are able to do this type of work, if they can sit in meditation, you can tap into this inherent gift that is love. It is available to all of us. Sometimes we just might have other things happen in our lives that makes us move away from this idea, but that is our inherent truth.
This is wonderful, and the way you say it, everything, the way you explain everything, it's more wonderful. That love is everywhere. We just have to align with it. That's so nice. And after this, if my listeners want to connect with you, then what's the best way?
Yeah, the best way to connect with me is on www.truenaturecounseling.net.
Okay. So I'll make sure to attach all the details and links below so that our listeners can find it easily and connect with you to know more about it. And with that, I've come to the end of the conversation. So, to my listeners, Amber's work reminds us that love is not just about finding the right person, it's about becoming fully present in our own bodies, needs, and emotional truths. The more deeply we meet ourselves, the more deeply we can meet another. If this spoke to your heart today, take one small mindful breath, one act of self compassion. Your journey has already begun. We will see you next time on Inner Peace, Better Health. Thank you.